guys, welcome back to Gardening Young. So today I wanted to give you a few tips on how to grow or how to plan a small garden space. I feel like so many times on YouTube I find myself in this place a lot where I see these gardeners with big garden spaces and they're showing how they plan their garden. I feel like some of you guys out there are growing in a small space and you need some tips on how to plan a small space. So let's just hop right into the video. Okay, so whenever you are growing in a small space, and even when you are planning a small space for a small space garden, all of us know that the big picture is to maximize our space. That is the thing, that is our whole goal, is to maximize our space and just grow as much as possible, right? Well, so there are a couple tips that I wanted to share with you that can help you maximize your space. Tip number one, learn what foods your family likes. This is really huge because learning what foods your family likes kind of plays a part in how many of each food you're going to give your space to, because every single square of your space is valuable because you have such a small garden. So you want to maximize it as much as possible. So you need to learn what foods your family likes so that you can figure out, okay, what foods am I going to give more of my space to and what foods am I not going to give as much space to because my family is not going to eat as much of that food. For example, my family loves tomatoes. We eat tomatoes constantly in lots of different things. So I know whenever I am planning out my garden that I am going to be thinking, okay, I like tomatoes. My family eats a lot of tomatoes, so I am going to give a lot of my space to tomatoes so that I can grow as many tomatoes as possible. Okay, so tip number two is to figure out how much you need. You know that whenever you're growing in a small space, you want to grow as much food as possible so that you can feed however much food you want to grow for your family. And for me, I have a huge family. I have 6 people in my house, which means that I have to grow a lot of food to actually make a dent in, what we eat, and maybe make a dent in our grocery bill. If that's one of your goals, I know that's one of mine, because our grocery bill is really high each week. So to make a dent in that would be really great, so that we don't have to keep buying all those, grocery produce at the store. So knowing how much of everything you need is really important, so that you can figure out when I'm seed starting, okay, how much do I need to start? How much of this is my family going to eat? So how much am I going to need? Or how much of this am I going to use? So how much do I need to start? And so that's really important. So tip number 3 is to grow up as much as you can. In other words, figure out how much trellis space you need and how much trellis space you have. This plays a big part whenever you are planning your small garden space, because whatever you can grow up is going to help you tremendously. If you guys watch my other video, I have a video about using cattle panels as trellises, so go check that video out. But I use cattle panel trellises to trellis all of my things, and it helps so much, because whenever I can grow up, then I can grow things around, and I can just fit as much in a small space as possible. So growing up is really important, and you need to figure out how much how much space you have to grow up. So that's really important. Figure out how much trellis space you have, and if you could add any more trellis space, because the more trellis space you have, the better. But I say that if you are not growing a bunch of things that grow up, then don't buy a bunch of trellises. So it goes kind of the opposite way too, because let's say that I eat a lot of bush beans. I'm not going to go out and grab a bunch of trellis space, go out and buy a bunch of trellises if I'm growing bush beans, and bush beans, you don't trellis bush beans. So those are the things to consider. You want to consider if you need a bunch of trellis space and what you can grow up so that you can maximize your space, if that made any sense. Okay, and the fourth tip I have for you guys is to create goals. I know this is kind of a weird one. You're kind of thinking like, wait, why do I need to create goals? What does that have anything to do with planning your small space? But creating goals, as well as same thing as looking to the future. I think we get really caught up and sometimes kind of in comparison of like, oh my gosh, she has so much space. I can't really do anything in my small space. I can't grow for my family in a small space. But that is just not the case. I really, really highly encourage you to create goals for yourself. Look to the future. Okay, yes, this might be maybe a transition period, I'm just growing in a small space for this just period of time that I'm growing in a small space. So what can I do right now to learn as much as I can, grow as much as I can, and do what I can do now so that in the future it will benefit me. I really, really highly encourage for you to create goals, because whenever you create goals, it's kind of beneficial just because it kind of helps you have a mindset of, okay, how much can I really produce out of this? How much can I get out of this space? How can I maximize it so that I can reach my goal in the small space that I have? So it's that kind of mindset of looking to the future, like, okay, I want to be able to do this in the future, but I'm gonna set this goal for myself to produce as much as I can in this small space so that I can get to my end goal, or my next goal of creating this or producing this much. And for now, I'm going to try to maximize my space and learn as much as I can in the season that I'm in, and in the small space that I have. So that's kind of how I look at it, and I highly encourage you guys to create goals for yourself and really look to the future and use that whenever you are planning your garden. Really think about that. Okay, and last but not least, I have tip number 5, to grow something that you enjoy. I think this is a really, really big one, because I've been talking, all about how you need to maximize your space, right? Grow as much as you can, just produce as much as you can. But the other thing that you really, really want to do and make sure you have space for is to grow something you enjoy, so that, it's something that you look forward to, whenever you're in the middle of summer and you're just really worn, and you really don't want to go out and take care of your garden, but there's that something that you really want to go see, or you really want to go check on, or it's just something that you want to experiment with, and you're really looking forward to seeing how it turns out. Leave a little section, even if it is, just a small section in your garden, to experiment or grow something that you really, really enjoy growing. I encourage you to put or dedicate that little space to doing that, so it's that little, kind of motivation to keep going whenever you're in the dead of summer and you just need that little pop of joy. So those are all the tips I have for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope this was helpful to you. I really highly encourage you to be motivated if you're in that season of growing in a small space. I know I am. I have a small space, and so I am I'm talking to myself just as much as I'm talking to you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like, comment, subscribe, all those good things, and I'll see you next time. Bye.